Hi, I made DawnCraft, and it seems I've made it a little bit difficult for beginners to get into.
Oh, what is that? No, I can't move. Why can't I move? A vampire?
Okay, oh, frick me up, dude! Oh, I'm doomed. I'm fricked. I am fricked mega hard. Well, that's gone badly.
Oh, that's a big one. Goodbye.
Dude, where did that, what was that, dude?
This is actually harder than RLCraft. No lie. Look at this guy, he's scary. You are horrifying. What the f?
So here are 20 tips that you should know before getting into DawnCraft. Tip number 1. Pay attention to your stamina bar. Running, attacking, and using skills will consume your stamina. Heavier weapons will consume more stamina, so pick your weapons and playstyles wisely. When your stamina goes red, you get slowness and weakness effect, so try your best to leave just a little bit at the end. Tip number 2. Get the dodge roll as soon as you can. You can obtain the ability to dodge in your first main quest. Now this skill is so important that if you don't have it, you're just gonna suffer regardless of who you run into. There are also other really useful skills that you can get later in the game, but you're probably gonna be using the dodge roll the most. Tip number 3. Jumping attacks do more damage. Tip number 4. This is probably the tip that will save you the most. If you're trying to maintain distance away from your enemy, hold S when you attack. I've seen so many people just lunge into hordes of enemies with their attacks when they could have just cancelled the forward movement. This is especially useful when you use a longer weapon such as a bastard sword or a greatsword. Tip number 5. Hunt for cave blockheads and golems for cave fragments. Cave golems will spawn in deeper caves than cave blockheads. These things can temporarily boost your stamina, which can really save you in a pinch, or if you'd like, you can also turn them into emeralds. Tip number 6. Keep an eye out for Koroks. These guys usually spawn in forest biomes, but it's really hard to notice. I've almost never seen anyone talk about these guys, which is quite sad because I actually spent a lot of time creating them. If you manage to please them, they will leave behind a spirit orb before they leave, which can be used to gain heart containers or stamina vessels. Tip number 7. Avoid the Nether until you're 100% ready. The same goes for other dimensions such as Everbright or Everdawn. This pack is made so that the difficulty spikes according to player progression. For example, when you complete a certain main questline, invaders will start to show up. If you complete new achievements, new recipes are unlocked. And when you step foot in the Nether, yeah, you should prepare yourself. Tip number 8. Look into Apotheosis. If you're looking for that one moment where you go from getting beat up by every creature around you into destroying everything within your vicinity, it will be the moment when you started investing in socketing and enchanting. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it takes a lot of resources, and you have to progress to a certain point to actually make use of it. But when you do, you're not gonna be super OP or just be invincible, but things are gonna be different. Tip number 9. Eat more types of food. The more types of food that you eat, the more benefits that you can get. There are hundreds of food recipes in this mod pack. Try to experiment with different dishes and see which one gives you the most nutrition. If you're feeling lazy, craft a lunchbox and it will automatically choose the best food for you to eat. It also keeps your food safe from those pesky seagulls. Tip number 10. Look into our nouveau, specifically Drigme farms. Yeah, the spells that you can use are cool and all, but the Drigmes are easily the most useful creatures that you can get your hands on. You're gonna need a lot of resources maintaining food diversity, building, socketing, and crafting potions. This will literally save you so much time. Tip number 11. Check your questbook. Now, the questbook doesn't have any relations to our custom villager quest, but it contains so much useful information and tutorials for you to get familiar with some of the most useful features of the pack. It can be daunting and discouraging to learn new and complex mechanics, but you'll be alright if you just follow the steps in the questbook. We've even added a little reward for motivation. Tip number 12. There's a secret set of beginner gear. If you've died around 5 times in a row, you can get this set of gear in your questbook. Again, remember to check your questbook and also read the bottom tags. Tip number 13. Consume dragon hearts. If you ever come across a dragon, try your best to shoot it down and defeat it. The dragon hearts give you a huge boost in either attack speed or stun armor. You can also use it to craft dragon armor, which has special passive abilities. But then again, the dragons are pretty strong, so be careful. Tip number 14. Look into special armor sets, especially from Jet and Ilias armor. There are some armor sets that are easy to craft and also give you special effects such as strength or speed. The stats are less useful in the late game, but it could help you survive a little longer during early to mid game. Tip number 15. Do villager quest. Now I know, the item reward for villager quests are quite awful, but the main reason for doing villager quests is to improve your reputation and to get that sweet discount. I'm not kidding when I say that the discounts are worth the trouble. It also helps if you plan to steal from the villagers. I mean, if you get caught, at least they won't immediately call the guards on you. Tip number 16. Stealing is actually okay. As long as you stay out of the villager's sightline, you'll be fine. I've also seen quite a few people say that your reputation gets lowered if you open your own chests or containers, which is not true. We use the tag system to make sure that only the chests spawned near villages are targeted, so please don't be afraid to set up your base near villages. Tip number 17. Try not to die repeatedly. The more you die, the more your soul will fracture, which means more item and experience loss. Try to escape and do other stuff instead if that's an option, at least until your soul is repaired. Tip number 18. Some villager quests are actually scams. I'm not sure why I decided to put this in, but some villagers will outright try to scam you. So try to notice that tone and determine for yourself if it's a scam or not. I mean, don't worry, it should be quite obvious. Tip number 19. Make use of storage mods. Cloud storage and storage drawers are excellent tools to store massive amounts of resources. Backpacks on the other hand are great tools to hold more items on the go. Also, it isn't affected by fractured soul. Alright, so the last tip I have for you is just to learn from your deaths. You're kinda supposed to die in this mod pack, but hopefully what makes it enjoyable is that you can learn from each death. Some creatures have unique mechanics that you have to understand before you beat it, especially for the bosses. Now, I'll admit, not everything is 100% fair or balanced, but we've come a long way from what it used to be, so please don't feel discouraged from dying. Instead, try to embrace it. I think you might have a better time playing this pack with that mindset. And yeah, that's it. Actually, one more tip. Become our patron and get exclusive and early access content. And while you're at it, subscribe to my channel, cause why not?